Now it's 7:40 with new details on the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. For the first time, we're hearing from the SEAL Team 6 member who says he was the one who pulled the trigger. His story featured in an article for Esquire magazine that's appearing online today and will be on the newsstands on February 19th. Journalist Phil Bronstein wrote the story. Phil, good morning. It's nice to see you.
Morning, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Why is this guy talking now? The raid was a year and a half ago.
Well, it took a long time for him to get to a place of trusting me, of telling his story over time, and of ultimately understanding that it was a bigger story. It was more about the kind of life these guys face after service than it was even about the raid.
Is he worried about backlash from speaking out? There was another guy, member of SEAL Team 6, who wrote a book, got a lot of criticism. Is this guy coming out now to make money off this? Is he profiting from this article?
Well, he's not going to profit off this article.
Was he paid for it?
He was not paid for it. He's not going to get paid for it. He, so far, has resisted the idea of, writing a book. I'm sure a number of them thought about it, or a movie, or video games, or anything else. He really wanted to tell his story to help his fellow SEALs as they leave the service. There
were 23 SEALs there that night. How do we know this guy's actually the one who pulled the trigger?
Well, for the story, I did a lot of interviews. I talked to a lot of people, a lot of SEALs, both in and out, who are still in, some who've retired. Some SEALs were on the mission, talked about it at a dinner a week afterwards. I talked to a number of people who were there. I was at a dinner. There was a guy called the mentor in the story, who's a mentor to this shooter. We call him the shooter, who's with the CIA and was with Navy SEALs. And he got a call from a very high official in Washington a couple of hours later saying he was your guy.
This guy says he was the last one to see Osama bin Laden alive, and here's what he says in the interview. I shot him 2 times in the forehead. The second time as he was going down, he crumpled on the floor in front of his bed, and I hit him again. His tongue was out. I watched him take his last breaths, and I remember as I watched him breathe out the last part of air, I thought, is this the best thing I've ever done or the worst thing I've ever done?
I know. Think about that. This is what you've just done. You've just killed the world's most wanted terrorist, and you have to consider, is this bad or good? The good was he felt he was doing this for the people of New York, for the country, for all of his fellow SEALs. Could have been any one of them to shoot bin Laden. And the bad thing was, of course, the security issue, among other things.
And so then he signs up for 4 more months. And then he leaves the SEALs 4 years short of his 20-year pension time. Right. And now, this is really the gist of your article, by the way, he feels that he is fighting a completely different kind of battle.
Yes. I mean, I work at the Center for Investigative Reporting, and our reporter, Aaron Glantz, has done fabulous work on VA problems. It's 9-month average wait for regular vets to get their disability claim adjudicated. In this guy's case, his health care that he got, called TRICARE from the military, ended the night he left. He gets no pension, none, zero.
Is that because he left 4 years short of 20?
Yes, 20. And if he stayed in his 20, by the way, he would have gotten half his base pay as pension. That's $2,100 a month.
Which is the same, you point out in the article.
Navy choir.
So the guy in the Navy choir gets the exact same pension that a guy we're asking to be the new face of warfare around the world.
Exactly.
What about his security? I mean, he's the guy who killed Osama bin Laden. There are a lot of people who would like to exact revenge on him or his family members for that. What's his situation?
Well, his situation is he has no security. I mean, he's obviously doing what he needs to do, but he trained his wife to put the kids in the bathtub in their house because it had a reinforcing wall in front of it should anybody come try and get in the house. He taught her how to sit on the bed, put a shotgun with her elbow against the wall so she was braced, and shoot through the door.
His job prospects, he cannot go into a Fortune 500 company or anywhere else and say, I'm the guy who killed bin Laden, give me a job. This never happened.
Well, he also can't talk about anything, really. I mean, technically, certainly theoretically, this is all private. What do you put on your resume when your job has been classified for that long?
So you feel this is a major injustice that's being carried out not only on this Navy SEAL, but on all the people who are in this position for years and years and put their lives on the line and then find the transition to private life, civilian life, so difficult?
There's nothing in place. I mean, the Pentagon has some things, the Department of Defense has some things, even Special Forces. They have a few programs for these guys, but mostly they don't know about it, and they're kind of...
Well, is that their fault? Is the Pentagon doing something, but it's just not widely known?
It's not. VA will tell you that one Pentagon program in particular is not widely known.
This from the Navy. We reached out. Navy SEALs continue to serve and fight bravely in Afghanistan and around the world, accomplishing critical missions that keep our nation safe. The major details of the bin Laden mission are well known. Many of them matter matter of public record, we have no information to corroborate these new assertions. We take seriously the safety and security of our people, as well as our responsibility to assist sailors making the transition to civilian life. Without more information about this particular case, it would be difficult to determine the degree to which our transition programs succeeded. What's the takeaway? The
takeaway is, I think that's great. I think that it's great that they're committed to these guys. But at the same time, what they offered him when he came out from that at the end of the raid, the next day or the day after the raid, was a form of witness protection. And someone, perhaps jokingly at the SEAL Command, said, we can get you a job driving a beer truck in Milwaukee, and you have to break all contact with your extended family. It's like a mafia snitch. And they don't even have that program, by the way, yet.
Phil Bronstein, who's written this article with the man who says he was the one who shot Osama bin Laden. Phil, it's fascinating.
Matt, thanks for having me.
And you can read more about this on Esquire.com right now. And again, the issue hits newsstands on February 19th.